So in this video, I'm just going to briefly, one second, let me turn this thing off. I was prepared to leave it on, sorry. But in this video, I'm just going to discuss briefly, for social justice warriors and antifa people, what you will expect in the real world. Now, this isn't a video where I want to insult people, or I try not to do that. And I just, personally, I believe that most of these antifa and social justice warriors are just misguided and misinformed. I believe they're being used, and they don't realize it. Usually they're being used by the professors. Not all of the professors, and not all gender studies and women's studies professors are bad, not all of them. But the ones that are, they're manipulating these students because, they're impressionable, they're young. And let's face it, younger people are easier to brainwash. That's why churches do it very well with their young people. Check out Jesus Camp, what they do to those poor kids. That's all. It's not really appropriate to hate all of them. I mean, the ones that are using violence and things like that, yeah, I can understand. But anyways, what they can expect in the real world. Some of you may remember last year I did a video, and then I gave a link to an article where this one person who was a social justice warrior. He eventually graduated college, got a job. He got terminated within a couple of weeks. Why? It's because he noticed on the job that some employees were being treated better than others. Had nothing to do with skin color. So he complained with another employee. He got a couple other employees, didn't get too many because most employees are smart enough to keep their mouths shut. They complained, and since he's a ringleader, they got rid of him. When you're on the job, you're going to notice some employees getting treated better than others because they know how to kiss that ass. Not necessarily work hard, because working hard does not really necessarily get you anywhere on the job. Some jobs it will, some jobs it won't. So I'm not going to say don't work hard. You should always, don't work hard. No, never work hard. Work smart, not hard. There are videos I'm sure you can find on YouTube on how to work smart. Please watch them. You got to know how to kiss that ass and brown nose. But just because someone's talking to their supervisors or helping their supervisors out and finding out if there's anything extra they can do, that's not sucking up and brown nosing. When I'm saying brown nosing, is constantly in their office, not doing their work, and then you see them in their office, being overly friendly and all that stuff. It doesn't always work on every job, but brown nosing works with a lot of people, unfortunately. I've worked with one supervisor, though. If you brown nosed him, he'd crush you. He did not like brown nosers. I've worked around people like that. They did not like brown nosers. But if you're a social justice warrior, you're going to get crushed with those, or Antifa, you're going to get crushed. Because I know Antifa, you're anti-fascist. The problem is, though, you guys are fascists. The way you guys are behaving is the same way the fascists and the Nazis behave. That's why people call you fascists and Nazis, because you're behaving just like them. And I hate to say this. No, I don't hate to say this. I hate the thing that you're doing is you're causing the increase of white nationalism, because it's always the white man's fault, the white man's this, white man that, and black only space and all this stuff, which is causing a lot of people, white folks, to go to these white nationalists, which is not a good thing. Let's face it, Obama did a good job separating us. Trump is, he's not a white nationalist, obviously, but you guys think he is, but he's not. But he's not what I would consider a good president, definitely. I would have to say he's not any better or worse than Obama, but who cares about that? Another thing is, I've heard some feminists, they'll say, well, you should always believe the victim. This is when the sexual assault. There's a reason why we have innocent until proven guilty. Okay, there's a reason for it. Because just because someone accuses someone of a crime, I don't care if they're male or female or what the crime is, doesn't necessarily mean that victim is telling the truth. People make things up. How many times are we hearing about all these hoaxes, hate crime hoaxes on college campuses? People fall for it, though. Why don't you let the investigation go forward first? For example, I'll give you an example. There's this woman in Tanzania, not Tasmania, Tanzania, Africa. She's a black woman, very intelligent black woman. She wanted to be a minor. If you're a woman, you can't be a minor in Tanzania. So she dressed like a man, act like a man, took on the mannerisms of a man. She worked in the mines. She would get in fights with other guys. She talked just like all of them, so no one ever figured out for years that this was a man. She made her money. She made a decent amount of money. You can look up this article because it was online a week ago, less than a week ago. She made a decent amount of money. Enough money to open up her own mine and employ her own miners. Well, one day this woman accused them all of sexual assault, including her. She got arrested, and that's when she had to prove. Of course, she wanted a woman in there when she proved that, hey, I'm not a man, I'm actually a woman, and her secret was out. The woman lied. Well, the woman may not have lied. I don't want to go that far, but she was wrong. This person could not have raped her because it was a woman. Not that a woman can't rape another woman, but you know what I'm saying. Because people sometimes don't remember things correctly. Things happen. I don't want to get into all of it. You need to take a law class, talk to a lawyer. They'll explain this stuff to you a lot better than I can. I did a lot of studies. If you took psychology, I remember abnormal psychology when I took abnormal psychology. You'll learn how people can mess up. And Richard Dawkins, one of his books, he gives you, tells you about a video, and you can watch the video. These guys there's several people that are throwing the ball at each other, having fun. And it's a 42-second video. During those 42 seconds, 35 seconds of that video, there's a guy in a monkey suit, walks right in front of the camera, jumps around, and basically like a monkey and everything. Then people are questioning about it. Not one person ever noticed that monkey, the guy in the monkey suit. That's why witnesses are considered unreliable. Well, that's why they question witnesses. That's why we have innocent until proven guilty. So in the real world, if you accuse somebody, you better be sure of yourself, because you can open up yourself to a lawsuit. So don't just accuse people of something that, always blame the victim. We believe you. It's like, well, I will believe you if I see evidence. One way or the other. Like, obviously you don't dismiss what they're saying. You take what they say seriously and you investigate it. The worst thing you can do is just be doubtful and like, well, yeah, maybe it happened. We'll go and look it up. You don't want to do that. In the real world, be very careful. Let's face it. If you respond with the violence and the hatred and not wanting to listen to what other people have to say because their opinions are different than you, good luck. Because I don't think that you could get any real jobs. Because how are you you can't even be an activist because you aren't listening to anybody who thinks differently than you. Think about these extreme liberals. Conservatives aren't any better. They're not any better. But we'll get into that in a second. Like, for example, I want to use the example though. How many of you have ever been to church? How many of you? Huh? How about, if you have been, then those of you just raising your hands, that they go full throttle in indoctrination of their congregation, especially the young. This is correlating with how the professors indoctrinate their students. Here's the thing, a lot of those preachers have never actually been in the real world. They, just like those students, grew up in Bible schools, Bible colleges, and all this stuff. Those professors, they never actually been out in the real world. They're indoctrinated in their ideology. They've never been exposed to other ideas of thought, anyone else's ideology. So they only know their method of thinking. Anyone else that thinks differently than them is bad, evil, sexist, racist, homophobic. Well, in those churches, anyone who thinks differently than their specific doctrine is worldly and a sinner, friend of the world, falling for Satan's lies, and unpatriotic, and this and that. There's a reason why a lot of them, they make sure their kids they have their own elementary school. It's mainly the more fundamental churches, those that really follow their Bibles. Just like Muslims that really follow their Quran are all nasty people. They make sure that their kids go to their Bible colleges too. Oh, I got a PhD, at a Bible college, unaccredited. And then of course they think they're better than everybody. Like, sorry, but you're not, you know. Like that Asian woman I was reading about yesterday who called people white trash because they eat at some fast food Asian restaurant. And that's how your professors are. They look down on anybody who's not them. These are people making good money and they look down on the poor. They act like they care, but they don't, and they don't care about the students either. And these students are being brainwashed by the professors, and it's like these preachers brainwash their congregation, and and the preachers, they make sure that everybody thinks like them. If you go to fundamental Baptist, independent Baptist church, they make sure that all the other people that they allow to speak in their churches think exactly like them. And they all tell the congregation the same thing, make sure they're interpreting the scripture the same way. The same thing with these colleges. They tell these students, they make sure these students all think the same way. All those professors think the same way. And I'm not talking about your science professors, your history, English professors. No, I'm talking about women's studies, gender studies, those type of classes. Those are nonsense classes that are as useless as a PhD from Hollis Henderson's Bible College. Or the college that Kent Hovind got his PhD from. They're useless. You can't do anything with that degree except for teach the class in that, which no one's going to care about. Now, African American history, I recommend everybody take that. Especially if you live in the United States. You should be taking African American history. Actually, African American history needs to be incorporated better with U.S. history. I'm not talking about that class. I'm talking about the social justice warrior class. African American history is not a social justice warrior class. It's not an SJW class. It's an actual real history class. It's actually important, and it's actually quite interesting and can be an eye-opener for a lot of you guys. You should take it. But beyond that, you got a rude awakening. You got to remember, you got these wealthy people. I've mentioned this stuff in my book, my ebook, Social Justice Warriors and the Power Elite. You just follow the link in the description. You can go to it. It's only, all of my ebooks are 99 cents. I don't see a reason to charge a lot of money for ebooks if you want to purchase them. But anyways, they all work for those rich people that control them. They get their money from the rich. They don't have your interests at stake. They could care less about you. They don't care about you. They care about their jobs, and that's it. The social justice warriors, Antifa folk, you're gonna learn the hard way, and when you enter the real world, if you don't change, please change. It's the same with these white nationalist types, because like now, you have resistance, resist Trump. What the hell? He hasn't taken any of your rights away. Women's march, like as if he took your rights away. Or he's made xenophobic comments, such as what? He's against illegal immigration. How can you be for illegal immigrants? No country allows illegal immigrants into their nation. Why should we? See, your professors are lying to you. It's like, if you went to that site, Stormfront. I hate to mention their site. Like if you go to Stormfront, when Obama was president, it was always ongoing crisis. Ongoing crisis. I like going to racist websites, and white nationalist and black nationalist websites. I want to tell you why. It's because they all say the same damn thing. This is why I'm saying you're being brainwashed and you're going to get a rude awakening in the real world. It's always the same thing. They want our women. Their women are so ugly and nasty. They're more likely to commit this crime, that crime, blah 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 blah. Depending on the anti-white or anti-black side, depends. The crime might be different. But it's always, they're more likely with this and this and this. They hate you more than we hate them. And they're going to attack you. They're against you. It's always the exact same crap. I haven't went to none of those sites in years, and there's no point in doing it. But they're funny as hell. If you want good entertainment, it's okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. Because after a while it gets annoying and you're like, wow, these people are just kind of whack job. And your Antifa and social justice warrior types, you sound the same way. Those that want the space, safe spaces for black folks only, for minorities only, and somehow you think that's going to increase inclusion. Yeah, good luck on that. Good luck when you're on the job and you want an area just for your ethnicity or your own people. And let me ask you something though. Why don't your professors work, and why don't these social justice warrior types go to predominantly black colleges? You know, there's a lot of them all sprinkled throughout the country. Why not? You get just as good of an education. Oh, let me guess, some of them aren't any good and they're poor. Well, maybe if you start going to them, they'll get more money and they will have more money to buy better equipment. Of course, you'll never go to those. These social justice warriors will never actually go. They like to talk, but they don't actually like action. Especially the professors. They're lying scumbags and they're using you. Bye.